Hi, Tam.
Hi, Terry. How are
Oh,
you, my friend?
I am. I'm so good, but I'm even better knowing you're sitting right there talking to me. I wish we were together here in this room,
Me too.
but it's part of what we've gone through, right? How
Absolutely.
how have you weathered the last year at Tyler Mason?
Well, I mean, I've had a lot of help, obviously. I can't do it alone. Our staff has been so resilient, and our clients have been resilient. Not a whole lot of negativity. I mean, it's really been great. I'm proud of my staff. They've really risen to the occasion. But yeah, we're just we put a lot of COVID safety plans in place. In fact, we were just talking about it earlier today. Is there anything that we want to relax? And really, we're not. I mean, I just
Oh,
feel like because, well, in Indiana, our governor, we still have a mask mandate, of course. But even if we didn't, I, as a business owner, would still want to have masks in place because our staff are just too close for too long of a period to chance it. And in our industry, the majority of your staff is going to be the younger staff who've not had the opportunity to have the vaccine yet. So they're not protected yet, and they have little ones at home that they have to protect as well. So I'm not looking towards lifting that mask mandate for quite a while, to be honest with you.
oh, okay. Well, you know what? When you spoke of resilience, that's a direct reflection of leadership. I
Well,
need to
thank
tell you
you.
that, right? Because they look up to say, how do we handle this? I remember all the optics you put in place, but
Mhm.
then the services you put in place too, just to make sure that safety was there.
Yeah.
So, how have, when you came back and you had capacity limitations and such, well, how did that affect the business?
Well, I mean, it has affected it financially, of course. We're seeing a lot less people. We're down. We're probably down about 18% right now compared to 2019.
Okay.
So I'm not even comparing anything to 2020 right now because it was such a weird year, of course. But so when we came back, we instead of double, well, we call it double booking, but instead of taking a guest during processing time for color, sometimes we would bring in another, color application or a barber cut or something like that. We're not doing that. So the staff has a little more downtime in the break room. And of course, we had to put some guidelines in place back there because, we didn't want them too close. And, so there's been some adjustments there. Uh,
What kind
but
of what kind of guidelines did you do in the back of the house in the break room?
well, so obviously you have to take your mask off when you're eating, and that was tough because I said you're going to have to be in a different room. So, we made our offices like if it was my day off, I'm like anybody can go to my office and eat at my desk. I don't mind that. If our nail technician was off, they would go into her room, and eat in there, or a spa room if it wasn't being used. But we had guidelines. Hey, you got to keep it sanitary. If you use it, you got to pick up your stuff and clean up after yourself. But some of the girls would even go to their cars, and in the middle of winter, it was tough, wearing their coats all the time and in and out. But they grinned and bared it. And again, that's why I'm saying I'm so proud of them because, there wasn't a lot of complaining about it. And they knew that it was for the good of many, their families, their work family and their clients. So, and we would hit that point at every staff meeting. We still had our staff meetings monthly. Some of them were Zoom. We divided up into groups so we could have smaller groups, but we don't have any more than 4 people in the break room eating at a time.
Yeah.
If you have a mask on, that's one thing. But if you're eating and you don't have a mask on, then you can't, be that close.
So tell me, you also went through something else during this time. You want to share that?
Yeah, sure, absolutely. So when we came back in June the 1st, in 2020, I had one massage therapist and one stylist that decided to do their own booth rent kind of situation. And I think there were a lot of factors for that one particular individual, the stylist that left. There were other factors too. So that, of course, was not a huge deal. I mean, I hate for anybody to leave under whatever circumstance. But in the last month, I just had 3 stylists all leave at the same time to go to booth rental around the corner. And as you know, I don't like prenup. I don't like, our non-compete agreements. I feel like they're a prenup, and it starts a relationship with the new employee off on a negative foot. But I'm rethinking, I'm reevaluating that, and trying to figure out, okay, how can I make that a softer transition for a brand new employee who's not, 9 times out of 10 an 18 to 20-year-old right out of beauty school, because that's where we hire from.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't want it to be a scary thing for them, but yet I want them to understand the whys. And I can't lose somebody to around the corner. But it's not just about the client, because my belief is it's the client's choice. If they want to stay at Tyler Mason, wonderful. We'll put them in with the right stylist. If they don't want to stay at Tyler Mason and they want to follow their stylist, absolutely, we'll tell them where they're going. It's the client's choice. They also have other choices in the neighborhood. They can go to any other salon they want. So I want that transition to be on point. I want it to be as smooth as possible on both ends. So this last time was a little disheartening for me, because I have an exit checklist, and it spells out everything to the staff member that's leaving. I'm like, okay, I'm sorry that you're leaving, but I don't want you to stay here if it's not where you want to be. So this is how it's going to go down. And I outline it for them, and we discuss it. And I said, this is what you can expect from me and the salon and your teammates. And this is what I expect from you.
This is with the notice now, right? This is with the notice.
Yeah.
What happens if it was no notice? Same
thing. Yeah. I mean, if they just didn't show up or whatever, I just don't think, from experience, and, I mean, I've been doing this now for almost 30 years.
Right.
So this I'm coming from experience in our particular salon. Will it work for every salon? Maybe not. But, for us, our feedback that we get from clients is they don't want to be contacted by the stylist. It puts them in a weird position. Hey, I've just left Tyler Mason. Well, they don't know where their loyalty lies. You know what I'm saying? And it just puts the client in an awkward position. So I ask everyone who leaves, look, I'm sorry you're leaving, but let's just do this the right way. We, the business, will call the guests, and we will tell them what's going on. We're not going to give them, all the gory details, of course, but we're going to say they've chosen to leave Tyler Mason and do something different with their career. We would love for you to continue to do business with Tyler Mason, and we'd be happy to, recommend another stylist that will fit your needs, and leave it at that. And if they say, well, I'm not sure what I want to do yet, of course, we're going to let them have some time to think about it. But if they say right off the bat, well, where did she go? We'll tell them.
Wow.
And, I have to say that even in my experience, clients may follow those stylists to their new location, to booth rent or wherever it is, even if it's close, but it's not the same environment. There's not the same energy. There's not the same amenities. And so I've seen 6 months, a year, 2 years down the road, the same clients that followed will come back. And again, it's not a tug of war over clients, but at the same time, I just want stylists to understand the financial impact it has on the business and all the people that are left at the business. But I feel like they don't understand what they're getting themselves into with booth rent. They think they're going to get 100% instead of 45%. And that is just not the case. They are giving up a lot that you cannot put a dollar figure on.
Exactly.
And,
I always refer to it as the soldiers that are behind the soldier, right? Mm-hmm. All of us at PSC are the soldiers behind the soldiers. And we have a role to play to make their job and their relationship with the salons. In our case, I'm referring to our salespeople that are out in the field. They have a responsibility to create connection, loyalty, and a relationship with our salons. Ours is to make sure that we put all the things in place so they can do that with ease. And I know when people leave you, they have no idea what the soldiers behind them do. They don't realize how much they do, right?
And you don't realize what you have until it's gone.
Exactly.
I think that's human nature in any situation.
So how much did this affect you this time?
This time it affected us to the tune of about $175,000 a year. So, they were lower level stylists. So not as bad as it could have been if they were master stylists, But the good news is I follow Steve and Terri Cowan's theory of always having someone in the pipeline, always having someone training. If a good person comes to the front door, I'm going to find a seat on that bus. I'm going to find a place for them at Tyler Mason, because you never know. This hit me, out of nowhere. One I was not surprised about, but the other two, I was like, what? Where's this coming from? I had no forewarning. But yeah, so I've got two, or I had one that just went on the floor as a level 1. So she's been able to take overflow, of those clients, of those 3 that left. And then I also have 2 in our training program that are getting ready to go on the floor in the next 3 to 4 weeks. So if anybody here is from a school and they want to give me a shout out, we're looking for more for our program, I can take up to 2. So,
well, here's the funny thing, and maybe you could reflect on it. Whenever I have to phone an owner, if I find out that someone is leaving, we have a policy at PSC. As soon as we know, you've got 24 hours to tell your owner, we will. And that we sleep better at night doing that, right? And we even had a situation this week, and they were very, very angry with us. Okay, we'll take that. We'll take that risk of an uncomfortable moment for you to protect our owners, right? But I always ask this first thing. Did you notice any behavioral changes or anything different in these 3 girls over the last 6 months or so?
One, yes. But like I said, the other 2 came out of left field. One of them, I don't want to give too many details, of course, but, one I had a very, I would say, friendly relationship with. We didn't hang out after work, but I felt like we were very close, and had a lot of conversation on a daily basis. And, she had a few bumps in the last few years, and always came to me, didn't discuss them in the break room or anything like that. She would come to me and talk it out. And, I thought we solved those situations. So again, this one just really, came out of nowhere. So there was no indication for her. The other one, more just moping around. Numbers, definitely rebooking and retail were the first things to notice. Could not be pushed, could not be nudged, wanted to spend an hour on a haircut, didn't want to change her timing or anything. So
that's amazing to me.
Yeah, all of those things. Very, very interesting.
So how did the staff respond, and how long does that shock, I'm going to say it like that, how long does that shock wave stay in the business before it's not discussed any longer?
I tell you, I have learned so many things over the years, and so I will pass on what I have learned and the way to handle it. In the absence of information, people are going to make up their own minds about what happened and come up with their own stories. And I remember you always talking about the line from an American president: whoever's got the microphone is who people are going to listen to. Exactly. And so I wanted to make sure that somebody in the know has the microphone. And, in most cases, it's going to be me, And so I immediately, jump on our Facebook group so I can get to everybody all at one time. And I say, I'm sad to say that this is, these people are leaving, and, they all have different reasons. And I am happy to sit down with any of you and talk about what those reasons are individually, without divulging, their personal information, of course. But, I'll talk this out with you any way you want to. While it's sad, they're looking to a new future. We have to look to a new future as well. There's going to be some advantages to this situation. There's going to be some disadvantages. It's going to be a little hairy for a couple of weeks, but those of you who are still building their book, building your book, you're going to have some clients come in. Now's an opportunity, and you need to take this opportunity, and you need to make these people believers in you. You want to, wine and dine them, go over and above for them and pre-book them and get them in your chair, keep them in your chair. So, those girls were excited about that, that are still building their book. And, others did need to voice some things, that just depends on the personality. Some people are like, I don't care. And then there's other people that are like, I need to talk, and I need to talk this out. But it was okay. It was okay. And anytime anybody got negative or, I'm like, you guys, let's not make this the focus. We've got so much going for us. We
Good for
have
you.
so many positive things happening in our business. Let's just keep the momentum going, let them do their thing. Now we just need to do our thing. And, I just say it in that way. And the whole management team here was on board with that as well, that we all believe the same thing. So, yeah, I mean, we just could communicate, just keep communicating. That's the thing. Just
Well, Tammie,
overly communicate.
well, you know what's hard is Steve said to me once years ago, and I've always thought about it every time we either have turnover that we generate or the team generates. And he says, quite often the business that they're working in has to become the enemy in order for them to justify leaving, right?
Absolutely.
And that's a hard thing to hear because you're not going to say, I love it there so much and I'm going somewhere else. Right?
Nobody says that.
No one says that. So you become the enemy. How are you the enemy in this situation? And did you do any shifts or anything in your company because what you learned from them?
The enemy was, for one of them, was other people in the business. They weren't their friends and they were always getting picked on. And, they always were the ones that got brought into the drama and they were the one that always got in trouble for it, always brought into the office and talked about it. And I'm like, well, that's not true, but if that's your impression, okay. And then the other one which was really weird to me. One of them was only 3 days a week as it was, and she wanted to have more flexibility in her schedule. I'm like, well, how much more flexibility can I give? But whatever. And then the other one was money. She honestly believes that she's going to make more money, in booth rent. And it just makes me sad because, they're not carrying Dove and S. They're not using Dove and S color. They're already starting to, drop down. They're giving less, and one of them I heard was charging more money for her services. I'm like, how can you do that? How can you take away amenities? How can you take away value to your customers, but charge more for it? I don't get that. So anyway, I hope it works for them. I'm not trying to be, negative. I really do hope it works for them because I don't rehire. I mean, because that sends a bad message as well. As much as I liked, individual people and would love to, have them back here again, I just feel like it sends the message to your whole staff. I mean, I've got 38 people to worry about. So, I can't say, oh yeah, go ahead and go to booth rent or go to this other salon. And if it doesn't work out for you, come on back, I'll hire you. I can't send that message.
In the exit interview, or the exit sheet, how many items are on that? And is one of them, know that we will never offer you a position again?
Yeah, very first item on there, it says, be very sure of your decision because we do not rehire.
Good for you.
It's in our policy and procedures when we hire people, but it's also on that exit sheet as well.
I love that. Can you share some of the other things on your exit sheet?
Shoot, I don't have it in front of me, but I can think about it here. So basically, we're sorry to see you go. We strive to, make a flexible and united, friendly family and place to work. But, we understand that some things don't always work out for everyone. Please, conduct yourself with dignity and respect, and we will do the same for you. And then I put on there that, our number one concern is client and that they are taken care of. And this is how we do it at Tyler Mason. We will call the guest to reschedule them first and foremost. We're a business. We're not a nonprofit. First and foremost, we will try to reschedule them with another staff member at Tyler Mason. If the guest does not want to stay with Tyler Mason and asks where you are going, we will tell them. We will not withhold that information. I'm not going to give them a map and give them the phone number and all that kind of stuff, but, I'm not going to make it easy for them. But, just don't contact the client first, because then it's like they call them right away. Then we call them and the client's like, how many people are going to call me about rescheduling my appointment? It's, sorry.
That's all right. I like it.
It's just bad business, it's just bad business to do it that way. And so it's that. And then I also put on there that they are not allowed to use any Tyler Mason's name, logo, or anything in marketing themselves, and they're not allowed to use anything from the Indianapolis Colts for their marketing or anything like that. And that's, of course, at the request of the Colts. So
Because you take care of, you are the sponsor of the Colts cheerleaders.
correct. Yes. So they can't use like any of the images, like if they've done any cheerleaders and we've got stuff on our social media, they can't say, oh, I do the Colts cheerleaders, or I used to do the Colts cheerleaders, and then use that on their Instagram or something like that. That's a conflict of interest. They can't do that. And I don't feel like they should be able to use our brand, to market themselves.
So let's flip now. You gave us some great insight on that. Okay. Now I want to hear some of your favorite best practices of Tyler Mason. The business is how old now?
We will be 29 years old. I know.
That's unbelievable to me.
It is. It's weird. I mean, I think about, Mallory. I don't know if I've told you this yet or not, but my daughter Mallory is my middle one. She is 26. And when we were at our other location, I had her on I think she was born on a Thursday, and I was released from the hospital on Friday morning, and I went right into the salon and did payroll. That's how we started. And she spent the first 4 or 5 months of her life in a pack and play in the office in the storeroom behind my office over there. So, I mean, I just feel like, we've come so far, but now she is running our front of house. So she's in charge of our guest relations, hiring and training and all of that stuff. So it's pretty exciting to see, where we've started and where we're going. And of course, my son Tyler is a barber and works for a barber shop downtown. So, and then Madison, my other one, she's a dancer, so she's at the other business. But we've just come so far, and we've had our ups and downs, of course, like anybody in any other business. But as far as best practices go, just staying true to your why. Simon Sinek talks about, your why. And, sometimes in the day-to-day stuff, I get bogged down with the day-to-day stuff. And when I get overwhelmed, or I have an owner's night, like you and Steve call it, I go back to my why. Why did I do this? And my why is to make a difference in people's lives, to develop people. And, I'm going to be successful in some people, and I'm not going to be successful in some people. And there's many reasons why, but I'm not going to ever lose the why. So I think that would be my advice to an owner, is like, why did you get into this business? If you're behind the chair and it's your art and your craft, that's great. But you also have to divide yourself in half. And what's your why for owning the salon as well? Do you want to develop people? It's certainly not money. I mean, it's not about the money. It's about what you're doing and the challenge of growing a business, and the pride that you feel when, you've got somebody that you hired at 18 and now they've bought their first home, or, they're having babies and going on vacations, all of those things. I'm not on an ego trip. I'm not like, oh, I made it possible for you to be able to buy that new car. But I have the place that they work that made them buy the new car. They did it on their own, their hard work, but we provided the tools, like you say. And I'm proud of that. And I take it very, very seriously. So that's why, during COVID, I'll be honest with you, that was tough. I know we all had it tough. But I just kept thinking about my staff. I want a business for all of us to go back to, and I'm going to do everything in my power. And I told them that. I mean, through tears and all, I was very transparent. I was very real and authentic with them about it. And I said, you guys, Tyler Mason's not going anywhere. We're going to go back, and we're going to get this done. It's going to be fine.
Tammie, when you think about 2021, what are the enhancements? Because I know you're always reinventing your business. Mm-hmm. Even if it's just little things to make us advance. I mean, that's my beliefs too, is where are the opportunities for us to either serve better, create a better system to serve better, develop our people so we serve better, right? Create our facilities so we can serve better. And then, of course, the noise that we have to make to say we're here. What are those things in 2021 that?
Well, the first thing I did was we're painting. In fact, that's I think who's trying to call me right now. My phone keeps ringing. Is the painter? I don't have a whole lot of money. I mean, obviously we're down. So there's not a whole lot of money to spend. But so yeah, we're giving a fresh coat of paint. In the salon. We put up some wallpaper. One of the girls that works here, her husband and her came in on a weekend and they put up some wallpaper behind our front desk, and it's just beautiful. It's very
nice.
Dove-ness, very botanical, very earthy. It's very pretty. And so we've got that. So some cosmetic things going on. And then as far as training goes, we're taking advantage of anything online. Dove-ness, I'm urging everybody to take care of that. I mean, we are using that as supplement for our apprentices, but there's some great hair cutting. There's wonderful product knowledge. Our front desk is taking the product knowledge. They're only 30 minutes long. Anybody can take those. So those are wonderful resources for us. So we're keeping up on education that way. We're not traveling, of course, and going, anywhere, but and we're not having too many artists come into the salon, but we're doing everything we can to stay current with trends and everything. And people, they're always on Instagram, so we've got that going on. We've made some change in our leadership as far as dividing up duties a little bit. And our spa is at full capacity. And we're making a big deal out of our safety procedures. Big deal out of that. I mean, that's always on our social media. We'll have people go, when are you going to stop wearing masks? Complaining. Those are the mask complainers. But we are still wearing masks because the staff is just too close. I've got to protect them, and
9 times out of 10, spas don't make it in a successful salon. Why did yours?
Wow. I think because there's not a lot of spas around us. I mean, there's, on the far west side, there aren't a whole lot of spas. So we don't have tons of competition, but our marketing is, I've got a full-time marketing director, now she does other things, Elizabeth, and
Yes.
she does more things than marketing, but she's very talented. That's her thing. She's been with me for over 15 years now. We work great together. Hired her right out of college, part-time. I'm like, you can work 4 hours every Friday, kind of like an intern. And now I don't know what I would do without her. I mean, it's just, it's awesome. Just finding people that are more talented and smarter than me, and I never thought that I would ever pay anybody to do payroll. My story about holding Mallory after I had her and doing payroll, I was never in my brain that I would have somebody doing the marketing, have somebody doing the inventory, having someone do payroll and accounting and stuff like that. I thought I would be the one doing it forever. And you just come to a point where you've got to find the money to do that if you want to be successful. You can't wear all those hats and be successful. No way.
Tell us at your level. I mean, it's a successful salon, 38 employees. It's a hustle bustle environment. What is your leadership team made up of?
So if you look at an organizational chart, I'd be at the top. I'm kind of the one that has my finger on everything, just like any business owner or entrepreneur would have. So,
you know what? I'm that too, and I call it managing director, right?
Yeah. Okay. I love that, managing director. So, I don't micromanage. I feel like that's something that I'm really good at. If I find a good person and I give them something to go on, I just let them run with it. If they make a mistake, they make a mistake. We talk about it and we move on. But Janelle does all of our payroll in-house and our payroll taxes, but I do have an accountant that files our taxes for us, but she does all the payroll taxes. She does all of the banking, the reconciliations of the credit cards and the bank statements.
What's her title?
She is the director of finance.
Good. All right.
And so then we have Melissa. She's also been with me for over 20 years, like Janelle, and hired her out of high school. She started at the front desk and worked her way up. And she's in charge of our e-commerce site and all of our purchasing, receiving, and merchandising. And then we have Elizabeth, who is our operations director, and she does all of our marketing and planning of our promotions with Melissa, because Melissa's in charge of retail. So when PSC gives us our deal sheets, Melissa goes, they have a meeting and they're like, hey, these are the things that we have on sale. This would be good to do for Mother's Day. Let's plan this. What are some things that we can do? We brainstorm it. So Elizabeth does all that. She takes care of our website changes, those kinds of things. And then Trisha is in charge of our spa and also all of our social media. And then she's our spa director and also social media. The two don't go together really, but she does a great job in both because she's a massage therapist. But she's got a great marketing mind. Mm-hmm. Mallory, who started out at the front desk, she is now our front desk director. That used to be a job of Trish, but those were just 3 things that were really, really duty for her to be able to put in 40 hours a week. So she trained Mallory, Trish did, and got her on board for running our front desk. We have Kara, and she is kind of she's our salon director. So she is a great resource whenever we call them feedback forms. If a guest complains about their hair, it's, too orange or, too much cut off or not enough cut off, whatever. Front desk takes that call. They do a blue form, which is a feedback form. Kara gets those and she goes to the stylist and she helps with that. So in other words, hey, stylist, what happened here? What's the deal with the color? Oh, it was this and that. She had box color. They discuss what it is. If she's coming in for an adjustment, what they're going to do as far as a formulation. So Kara follows up on all of those kind of things. She also helps do with displays in the salon. She's got a wonderful creative eye for those kind of things. So we have a director meeting once a month. So
that's where I wanted to go to next. Do you have a director of education too?
Well, I've got a trainer. Yeah. So I'm over education. So I'm staff development. So I schedule all of our continuing education, and I also hire all of the new stylists and the apprentices, and I oversee the apprentice program, make sure they're on track, just kind of follow up with that. But I have a trainer, and that's Rachel, and she's been with me for 17 years. She's one of my top producers, and she does all of our training. She does classes and is a great mentor to all of our new stylists. So
this is where I wanted to go next. You do a staff meeting once a month.
We call them huddles.
And then you do a director meeting.
Yes. So once a week we have a planning meeting, and that is Trish and Elizabeth and I. And we talk about, and Mallory's in on that too. So we talk about, any front desk issues, are we following our systems and our policies and procedures? Do we need to tweak anything? We plan social media, we plan promotions, those kinds of things.
Every week
we just touch base. Sometimes they're longer meetings than others, but we meet every week on that. And then at the last Wednesday of every month, all of the directors from all the departments, we meet together, and we're trying to get better at our meetings. In other words, they just cost us so much money, time is money. We want to make sure that if it's just information that needs to be shared, we can do that through email. But if it needs to be a brainstorming session and we all need to kind of talk together, just to stay on the same page, we do that once a month. Good. And that is the week before our huddles with the rest of the staff. That way we can say, like Janelle says, hey, I need to get these things updated from all the staff. So can you present this in meetings next week? So we have our huddles, we divide those up. So we don't have such a big group. We have our stylists are in one meeting, divided up. So in other words, depending on when they work. So we'll have a meeting on Tuesday of stylists for an hour, and then we meet for an hour with our spa. And then on Wednesdays, once a month, we meet with the other half of the stylists. So same agenda, same things that we talk about. And then we take minutes of the meeting, and the meeting minutes and follow-ups, things that they need to do, things that we are going to do, are posted in our break room so everybody knows what happened in the meeting.
See, you know what? I think when you say a commitment to communication, that's it. You don't want someone, how many times have we heard from a staff member, I didn't know that. No one told me that. And I know you walked into that, especially when you were growing at such a rapid pace and more people were coming into the circle. And you've done a beautiful job with that. Beautiful.
Well, thank you. Oh, we had a lot of fails. This didn't come about in 1 or 2 years. This is a long cycle, and we still don't have it all figured out. And, we think that we're over communicating, and then somebody goes, well, I didn't know about that. I'm like, how did they not know? What did I not do?
What? How did that happen? How did I lose that one?
Well, we utilize Facebook too. We have a closed, private Facebook group, and it's only, members, employees of Tyler Mason. And it's great because, Janelle can like celebrate somebody who's had a big day. They're like, somebody gets their first $2,000 day, and she's like, congratulations to so-and-so for their $2,000 day. And then the whole staff can comment on it and, do little applaud hands and happy faces and all that kind of stuff. So, yeah, it's a good way to keep connected.
So the future, just give me a quick snapshot. What are you thinking about for the future for Tyler Mason?
Oh, if I speak it, it's real, right?
Kind of.
I'm building a barbershop.
I am thrilled for you.
Thank you.
Is it expansion?
Expansion, yeah. So it'll be here with Tyler Mason. I mean, I've been talking about this for 10 years and I've just not done it yet. So yeah, I'm going to do a barbershop, and I just want to make it a man's space. They'll still be greeted by our front desk as always with the Tyler Mason way, but then they'll walk into a whole different environment. And I'm going to keep that a surprise because it's going to be pretty exciting and maybe a little different, but yeah, so it'll be more inviting, and Depot and Ruzel will be, prominently displayed there as well as in the salon. So we've got some fun things planned with that. We're creating another space in our spa. I moved a laundry room around. So now we're going to have a separate locker area for men. We've not had that before in our spa.
Oh, nice.
And I was like, for years, I've said, I want men to have the same experience in our spa as the women do. And they just can't have that yet because they don't have their separate space. So now they're going to. So hopefully that'll be done here in the next month or so. It's scary to spend money when you're down,
yes,
in revenue. It's a little scary. But, my gut has served me well over the years, and my gut says that this is the time to do it. And, worst case scenario, I'll just put a dog rescue in there.
That's right. I can't tell you the amount of owners, my favorites are the best students. My favorites are the people that learn and say, we're going to implement that into action. And you're definitely, that is your strength. I mean, it is, you have many strengths, but that one, you hear it and you say, wow. And then you start planning for it immediately. And that's what's been a joy for me to watch over the years. I love when I'm there and you go, okay, walk around, tell me what you see. My husband's going to kill me because you always make us spend money after you're here. But it's just how you think. And I think that's why your staff is in such good hands.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. I hope they feel the same way. I love celebrating those long-term anniversaries. We've got people here that, 20 years. I mean, they've been on this journey with me. And so I'm definitely not going to take all the credit because there is no way that I could not have done it without them, but also you and Steve, Terri, and your
thank you.
PSC, because I feel like I could teach PSC Net and Salon Inc. now because I've only been through it maybe, 15 times each, but I always learn something new. And another thing is, I talk to my kids and the staff here at Tyler Mason. I'm like, find a mentor. Even if they don't know that they're a mentor, make them your mentor. And I told them, I go, I have mentors still. And, I consider you and Steve, not just friends, but also mentors, because you're always bringing me something new and fresh. You always have great new ideas or lead me to a book or another resource that makes me think.
And there's a book that we're working on right now, Business Made Simple. And I think it's something you would really enjoy if you haven't already. And we've got some things that are coming in 2021 too that I'm excited about. And I think it's going to complement, I always think, I don't know about you, but when we're making decisions here, I think at that upper tier customer.
Okay.
And how are they going to use it? How are they going to be able to expand what they're doing because of our partnership? And so that's why I love to bounce ideas off of you, or just pick your brain about what are the challenges right now. It with the metaphor of a jet, I'm trying to, and that's part of the book too, but it's what turbulence do I need to get the plane back up to smooth air, right?
Yeah.
What turbulence is in the business right now? It's just a quick pocket. And sometimes they come on, the pilot will come on and say, listen, we're going to have some choppy air for about 8 minutes and then we'll be fine. That's me too here. We're going to have turnover in the front of the house. It's going to be a little choppy until we get them trained. What can we do? So that's what our job is.
Yeah.
Right?
Absolutely. I mean, I talk about grace all the time. I'm like, come on, you guys. If you make a mistake on color, stylists or massage therapist, if your room was too hot or you're too cold and your client complains, I don't come and start screaming at you guys and telling you how awful you are. So we're not going to do the same thing when our brand new 19-year-old at the front desk makes a mistake on your book. If they don't give you an hour and a half, they only give you an hour and 15 or whatever. And they know that, then, and as soon as you say, hey, come on, let's a little bit of grace. And they're like, you're right. And it's not a confrontation, it's not a fight. It's not a confrontation. It's like, come on, we're human beings.
Exactly.
And as soon as we lose the human element, that's what I think makes our industry so awesome. Yes. And recession proof is because it's a personal business and it's not going to stop. We can automate and we can Zoom and we can do all of these things, but I shouldn't say never, but I hope we never have robots that cut people's hair.
Exactly.
They're not going to have the same feeling. They're going to end up with a haircut, but they're not going to have the same experience.
Well, I did a post, and I won't keep you any longer, but I did a post and it said, study, I can't remember what it wrote now. Study the people, study the best. There lies the magic. Study them. And I remember when years ago I heard the line when I was working for Pillsbury. I'm here because I stood on the shoulders of many giants. They allowed me to, right?
Yeah.
And that's what you're doing too. You're allowing your team to stand on your shoulders. And then we all are standing on other people's. It's powerful.
It is. And that's why, I'll be honest, in the early days of owning a salon, I looked at, other salon owners as competitors. And I know that certain salon owners and certain salons have to look at that way because of their proximity or whatever, whatever that situation might be. But, I, as old as I am now, and after almost 29 years in business, I can honestly say that, I think I'm over that now. I really am thinking bigger picture now. I'm not thinking just me. And I don't know if that comes from having children or if it comes with age. I don't know what it comes from, but bigger picture to me is if I can help one other salon owner through a little bump, of course they're going to do it themselves. They've got to have that wherewithal or whatever. But if I can give them just an ounce of encouragement or an idea that they can take and make their own and run with it and be successful with it, then I feel like I've done what I need to do, because this industry means a lot to me, just like it does to you. Gosh darn it, these phones.
Come on.
Stop ringing.
I
have it turned off, but it still rings. I don't understand what the deal is. It's crazy. I don't know who's trying to call me.
But even this, just us doing this on Clip together is providing things to those other salon owners.
I hope so.
Oh, of course. And
one of the things too that you had asked me about, and I know that we want to wrap this up, but one thing that we've done that I feel like is the single most thing to keep things fresh for your clients is our seasonal menus.
Oh, yeah.
Our seasonal menus, that's Elizabeth hit it out of the park when she did that. And she really gets everybody on board. All of our service providers are on board about, giving things, like we're doing something with Heart of Glass, okay, the new product. And we're doing it as an in-salon treatment. And we have a whole nother menu, set aside for the seasons. And it's so cool because, Is it something that's going to be on our menu all the time? Probably. It's a conditioning treatment, that we're always going to have, but we're featuring it on a separate insert and making it seasonal. We do the same thing in our spa. Maybe just change up some of the products that you use and call it something fun, romance the words, and it gives a little bit of a lift to the service providers as well as clients, new and existing.
Well,
so
and
that's
harvest,
been really helpful.
you always have a pedicure or manicure during harvest that smells like pumpkin or something.
Yeah.
You can just feel it, and that's part of the seasonal menu.
Absolutely.
I love that. Tammie, thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. Thank you. I'm really honored that I was able to sit with you and give some, I don't know if it's advice or not, but I've always got an opinion. You know that.
And I'm sure I'll call on that opinion very soon again.
Oh, you're so sweet.
My best to you and Steve and the children.
Thank you. Same to you and your family.
Thank you, Tammie. Have a great day.
See you later. Bye, guys.